Hello out there in podcast land. This is Tammy, Terrell, Texas Desert Rose here, sitting outside. You may hear some sounds every once in a while, including some chickens. So we're going to cover a different topic today. And when I say we, Miss Kari has agreed to join us again, and I'm thrilled about that. And we're going to talk about another topic that she and I know a little bit too much about, I think. Just like this month is Lupus Awareness Month.
Yes, it is.
It's also Mental Health Awareness Month. And so our topic last time, I hope you'll give it a listen if you haven't, is about lupus specifically, but what is it called? An
autoimmune disease?
Autoimmune, disease, disorder, I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, just autoimmune diseases.
So we did one on that, and now we're going to do something near and dear to our heart, mental illness. My own personal experience is my father was diagnosed, when they finally came up with the diagnosis bipolar, which didn't even come into existence until the 80s. I don't know if you knew that or not, but he was diagnosed by bipolar 1, bipolar 2 with psychotic features, and lo and behold, I've got my youngest brother who is also diagnosed, and he is now in prison doing prison time. Precious soul, who the way he coped with his mania, which was absolutely off the charts, some PTSD, military, all of that, the way he coped was to drink, and when you drink and you're trying to manage your mania, you eventually go into other things to calm yourself, and 3 strikes, 4 strikes, 5 strikes will get you in. So precious soul, I talk to him all the time, but this is what my experience with my father as well as my brother is what I'm bringing to the table in my experience. And Kari, how about you? What do you bring to the table? What's your experience with this?
My brother is paranoid schizophrenic. However, he doesn't know he's paranoid schizophrenic.
So he's untreated.
He's untreated. And I want to just start off by saying this. I do not want to come across as saying how anybody should approach or feel or how you handle the situations. I know I use a sense of humor. That
Sure.
doesn't mean that I don't take it seriously or that this is not something very near and dear to my heart. It's just that it's been, you're talking 40-something years that I've grown up with it. And so eventually you have to kind of either laugh or cry. And
We've done a lot of that too.
I choose to laugh as much as I can because I've done so much crying over the years. And so I don't want to say how anyone should handle it. I just want to share stories that have happened to me and how I have handled it.
Well, if the seriousness is only measured in tears, we're in trouble, but we've cried lots of those too.
Lots and lots. And on top of my brother dealing with schizophrenia, I have other mental illnesses in the family. We have bipolar. I know I have anxiety and depression that comes along with the lupus. I think once I got diagnosed, that definitely got worse, just being at home and things of that. So even I have bouts with depression and anxiety, but with bipolar and paranoid schizophrenic and also borderline in the family. So quite a bit, and that a lot of them self-medicate. And so then you get into the addiction and the other things that go along with that. But
well, something to throw out there, too, from the clinical side is that schizophrenia has quite a few types. Paranoid can be the most dangerous because they can be the most unpredictable, which I'm sure you will tell some stories about that. But it is genetic. Bipolar, however, can be either genetic or environment, nature or nurture. And with some people, with some cases, it's both.
Perfect storm.
Yes, perfect storm. Well said. I know that knowing you for as long as I have, even well before your diagnosis, there was already anxiety there. And I'm sure that the diagnoses, when they finally came to the name and well before, your anxiety and depression exacerbated. Did that make it easier for you to maybe relate to where your brother was coming from, or not really?
I don't know, because I haven't really thought about it. I don't know if it's my own personal experience or just growing up in life experiences in general. Over the years, I guess I have come to terms with it, and like all things, going through different processes, and I feel like I'm in a pretty good place. It's hard because you somehow love someone and dislike someone at the same time. Where it's so hard to be around them, but you love them so much, but you can't fix it, and it's so hard. And so it took a lot of years to kind of even come to terms with what all that entails.
I noticed with mine and my own therapy, I needed to work through, and it's a process still, survivor's remorse. You've heard that term before?
Yeah.
Where you feel this level of guilt, like, why them and not me?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had to deal with that at all? Because what I would do is hold myself back out of guilt because I was the one who was thriving, not the one who was struggling.
I don't know if it's survivor's guilt. I know with my brother, we have different dads. And so, unfortunately, the other son, my brother's brother, that shared the father, he overdosed and passed away. And so, and he also dealt with this, or paranoid schizophrenic and addiction and, self-medicating. And so, I think I knew that wasn't in my bloodline, and so that was out of my control. It was more of what can I do to help him, and then again, the other people in my family that that suffer with bipolar and borderline and things like that, I'm extremely close to, and that's hard to learn boundaries because I can very easily become an enabler. And especially when you love them so much and you want to take away their pain, and I'm kind of getting to the point to realize that I can't, regardless of what I do. These are things that I can't fix, and so I'm happy. I'm happy about that. I'm happy that I'm learning, either whether it's age, experience, whatever it is. I'm getting to a better place because if you let it, it could completely eat you up inside.
Well, and I saw my potential, the way I relate to that, my potential to hold myself back and not fulfill what I see as what I'm supposed to be doing because I felt a level of guilt. And here's the tricky part. I didn't know I was feeling that. We had to do that therapeutic surgery to get down to the core and go, oh my goodness, I've got survivor's remorse. Mm-hmm. And because the struggle, the difficulty is not your conscious, it's what your unconscious can do,
That's true. And I very well, I could be ate up with it and not know. So, that sounds like something I would do. But
I'm not trying to make you worry. I don't want you to worry.
I can't say I don't have it, because now that you mention it, I might.
Lord, people, we're going to be doing a third show.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so I know there's some stories that you can definitely tell. What about do you want to share your latest or some of the recent interactions you've had with your brother?
I can. I'll try to keep it.
No, be you.
Okay, well, you asked for it. The thing is even yesterday, we went and saw my brother. And
is he institutionalized or?
No, he's actually homeless in Denton. And that is something hard. I know my mom, talk about guilt. Good Lord, she beats herself up all the time. And it's so easy for other people to be like, oh, I would never let my brother be homeless. Or I would, never do XYZ. Well, don't be too quick to say that, because you never know what you're going to do.
Like, how could you? Well, here, let me tell you how you could.
And I know when COVID started, my brother was very upset and paranoid about getting that. Rightfully so. We all were.
Sure.
And so I had a camper, and I was like, Bub, come on and come be with me. Well, we've all done this multiple times in the family. Come stay with us. Let's,
Sure.
see. However, just because you have a stable home and food doesn't mean you're going to be mentally stable. And it doesn't go away regardless whether he's here or there. And it could be one time he thought I put battery acid in a cake, and so he needed to leave. Or this last time he stayed with us for months, and I thought it was going good, and he just lost it one day when we were drinking coffee, and called me a bitch, and that he wishes, he hopes I end up in jail, and he thought that I was in the mafia or something. And so you never know. I mean, it's not the lack of trying, it's not the lack of loving, it's not the lack of caring and being supportive of a loved one. It's, we can't control him, You can't
love him enough, feed him enough, give him a safe enough place to make him not have mental illness.
No, and he's happy there.
Yes,
he really is. He's not. And one time, there's so many stories. It would take hours. But I know one time a dog attacked him, and he went into the convenience store just asking for the phone to get some help. And they made him leave and didn't even see what was going on. And I'm like, you don't be so quick to judge, because there's also, I can't go anywhere in Denton without someone saying, hey Mike. And I have been approached so many times that he has helped other people in that situation. I'll never forget, this one woman came up to me and my mom and said, are you, related to him? Yes, he's my brother, he's my son. I just have to tell you that I found myself homeless. I was scared to death. Your brother came, he ripped up his blanket, he shared it with me, he made sure that I was safe through the night, and then he took me everywhere and showed me where to go to eat, what was safe, what wasn't, who to hang out with, who wasn't, who didn't, or who it's not safe, and showed her the ropes. And she said, and now I'm off the streets, and now I'm to a better place, but I don't know that I ever would have survived without your brother helping me the way that he did. And that kind of gave me peace, where it's like, you know what, this is not what I want for him. This is not what I want for anybody. And regardless of how many times I try to save him, he's not mine to save.
Well, and that's the good point. You're making me think of when Jeff gets down, because it's just one more day, and he's amongst in a pretty difficult situation. He's got a job in there. He works in the library, his ideal, where he gets limitless coffee, and that is his heaven. And I said, Jeff, if God needed people to touch lives in prison, how would he do it? I said, you're one of the ways. If God needed lives to be touched on the street, how would he do it? Well, he's going to do it through somebody who's not going to be as intimidating to people, And so I would imagine that your brother, my brother, they're going to be, they're pivotably placed to make a difference in people's lives that we could not do.
Exactly.
And when I tell him that, if I did not mean it, he would sense it in a second, because he's incredibly intuitive, as I know your brother is as well. But they're getting to bless in ways we can't do.
We can't, and we can't even imagine. I mean, I really can't. I can't imagine the things that my brother has seen and heard and been through, but yet, for whatever reason that I will never understand, that I feel like his purpose is that to help others in that situation, and to help them maybe get through that first night, or show them the ropes. And in all of this time, we go and we try to find him, and we kind of know his routine, and we go and get him cigarettes and get him some money and things of that nature. But just the stories that I've heard, and he too works at a little convenience store, and he gets paid cigarettes and coffee,
his ideal.
It's amazing. And then he'll go to the library. He'll go, he has his routine. But the thing is